welcome to Young Money. I'm Nozi Pombanja. Welcome to our new format where we're bringing you two heavy-hitting entrepreneurs who are going to be sharing their entrepreneurial journeys with us. We start off our conversation with the chief executive of Beancounter. His name is Marnus Broodryk, and you've probably seen him on Shark Tank as well. He's one of South Africa's sharks, but a young man who is dedicated to supporting emerging entrepreneurs in South Africa. After the break, we're bringing you a conversation with the managing director and co-founder of Branded Youth. They are working with corporates to capture the hearts and minds of young South Africans, turning insights into strategy. His name, of course, is Bradley Maseko, and we'll be talking to him after the break. Let's go meet Marnus. So one of the things that always comes up when somebody Googles you, Marnus, is that you're a self-made millionaire at the tender age of 24. How did that happen?
It's funny, I always Google myself and I see that coming up, that and serial entrepreneur. So how true that is, I don't know. So I started my career very young. I did my articles straight out of school. I studied BCom accounting through UNISA, worked full-time, studied at night. So when I was 22, I was done with my degree and articles and everything, and I started my first real big business at the age of 22. It went really well, and 2 years later, we had a great company.
So you started off at 22, and over the years, you have been instrumental in building and launching many other multi-million rand companies. So maybe there's a bit of truth in the serial entrepreneur space, but what drives you? What do you look for in business opportunities?
Yeah, I think it's interesting in my initial career, and I think it's one of the biggest mistakes that I've made. As an entrepreneur, you wake up in the morning and you just see everything as opportunities. You get stuck in traffic and you want to solve traffic and you start a business. Yeah. But I think that was actually a mistake, trying to pursue too many opportunities at the same time. And I realized later in my career that it's all about focus. So now what I'm looking for is I'm focusing on one business, one core business, and I believe you can grow one big company at a time and not many. When
was that tipping point? When did that realization happen? What happened to sort of switch on the light and say, actually, I've been approaching this the wrong way?
For many years, I've started my own businesses, but I've also helped other entrepreneurs because we run an accounting firm. Many businesses come through our doors and they ask for our assistance, and sometimes it's finance as well. And we used to help with that. And I also started my own businesses, but I realized I can build 10 average businesses, still making money, but they're not going to be big, massive businesses. And it probably happened about 2 years ago. And then I've started to put my focus all into one business.
Well, let's talk about that business, the Beancounter, the core focus of the service and the product that you're bringing to market.
Yeah, the Beancounter, it's an accounting firm, but it's an accounting firm with a difference. We've really used technology to disrupt the market. So our industry of accounting firms, it's very reactive. Business owners, it takes a long time for them to get information from their accountants. And we've really changed that around to give business owners live, real-time information in their business. We set up a great system through technology. We work on the same system. And instead of helping you with compliance work, we're actually helping the business owner now with real-time information to grow their business.
So obviously you also have growth ambitions for the Beancounter, and perhaps one of the reasons why you focused on one business is to really make sure that it becomes a conglomerate in its own right. What does the horizon look like, and how do you think you're going to get there?
It's interesting. So we just at that start of a very fast growth for our company. We're looking at other partnerships and other companies and bigger companies to partner with to give a better products and services to our customer base, and that's where the growth is for us.
Now, you're also instrumental in actually making other people's dreams come true and the dreams of other entrepreneurs, because you're one of the sharks in the Shark Tank. How did that come about? And when you got the call that this is what's going to happen, I mean, what is the reaction in that moment?
It's interesting. Shark Tank was probably the only TV series that I've ever watched in my life, the US version, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And then when Mnet called and they said, would I be part of this show, it was kind of a no-brainer for me. So very exciting, and I think it's a space that I can add so much value. And I'm very interested to see what role the show will play in educating young and upcoming entrepreneurs.
Well, for some of us who are viewers of that show, we always have this question and wonder, is it your own money that you are pledging and putting forward? So, Spill, what is happening here?
It is 100% our own money, and hence why it's so real. That door closes and it's our money. We need to make good deals. We need to buy great businesses, and it's a boardroom in there.
So you've obviously now having gone through a number of these pitches that you see in the Shark Tank, have perhaps an even more crystallized idea of the pitfalls where entrepreneurs tend to make the mistakes that inhibit the growth and surge of their businesses. What are your insights around some of these?
So I think number one is ideas. So people think when I've got a great idea, I've got a great business, and we've seen many of them coming into the tank. And now as the show airs, I see many of those proposals coming through, that people think if I've got an idea, I've got a great business and I can raise millions. And that's not the case. You need to have traction. You need to have a proven business. So it's not about an idea, it's all about execution. And I think aspiring entrepreneurs, they make that mistake. They're so clinged on to the idea that they don't worry about getting traction. But if you want to build a business, you need to go and get your first customer.
So ideas are not enough. You need traction in the market, and that means growing your pipeline of customers. Where does this all come from? I mean, where is the source of your drive and your motivation for you to be so involved in wanting to see the growth of other entrepreneurs?
I think entrepreneurship has changed my life. Coming from a small town in the Free State with not a lot of opportunities, business and entrepreneurship really changed my life. And I like to wake up in the morning and see how we can help other people change their own lives through entrepreneurship, through starting businesses. And it's a real passion for me, small businesses.
You know, Marnus, every time I speak to female entrepreneurs, somehow in my own mind, and I think it's my own bias, I tend to ask the question around work-life balance and how do you do it all. So I'm going to try and push against that own bias and ask you the same question. What does work-life balance look like for a male entrepreneur?
You know what, Nozi, like I've given up on that a long time ago. And I've said my work is my life and my life is my work, and I will go and cut my hair 10 o'clock on a Tuesday morning, but I will also take a business call 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning. So I think if you really try and separate the two, I don't think you can be good in either one, because you're going to be at home stressing about something that you have to do. You're going to be at work knowing that you need to do something personal. So I've given up on that. I just blend the two and create one amazing life.
Are you a bad boss then? Because I can just imagine the people who work for you. Is that a philosophy that you would sort of carry into the team, that you need to have an entrepreneurial mindset and an approach? Work needs to happen, but how you find the balance is up to you.
It definitely is. Culture is so important for us in our own organizations, and I think in 2016 it is. Like the old culture of you need to be there at 8, you need to leave at 5, whatever you do in the day, it doesn't matter, you just have to be there. I don't think it's applicable in nowadays fast-moving business. So we do that in our own company. We work flexi times, we give flexibility to work from home if you need to. If someone passes away, we don't talk about compassionately if you just go and take time out as much as you need. And I think it's important. Business is life and life is business.
That's really, really insightful. What do you think has been one of the biggest challenges for you as a leader in terms of leading other people towards their own greatness?
I think it's important to find those people.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be great, everyone wants to be successful, but not a lot of people are willing to put in the work to do that. And I think with our younger generation, they've almost got like an entitlement attitude that I'm done with my varsity degree, I need to walk into a corporate job now, earn 100K a month, be a manager, and it doesn't work like that. You start from the bottom and you need to work yourself up. And I think the challenge is finding those people who are willing to work their way up.
Now, I really love what you've said about culture, because culture is such a difficult thing to create. And when the culture is negative, it's such a strong thing that cements itself. So what are some of the ways that you're approaching building the culture within Beancounter so that it really reflects the ethos that you're trying to project?
One of our key words is success in our company, and what we want to create is we want to create a successful business, but we also want to create successful individuals. Our clients who come to us, we want to create success for them, and I think when you create that culture where there's always a win-win for everyone involved, I think it's a lot easier to create that because everyone knows there's something in it for them.
So let's go back to the inner self with you, and if you could look back to your younger self, and could give yourself advice on how to progress, what would that advice be, and how would it influence the person that you are now?
Looking back, I don't think I would have done anything differently, but there's a lot of mindsets that I have right now that I wish I had when I was 18 or 21. And I think some of them is just to think a little bit bigger, and to think more about opportunities, because you can wake up and whatever you focus on, you will essentially get that in life. And if you wake up and you see opportunities, you will always find opportunities. And if you wake up and you see negative things, you'll always see and experience negative things. So I think definitely that. And then one of the biggest lessons for me personally is to surround myself with great people. And I wish I had done that 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I thought I can do it all. And no one can do it better than I am. And where I am now, I know there's people that can do everything much better than I can. And it's to find them.
And just as a final question, you spoke about meditation as one of your go-to places when you're trying to relax. What does meditation do for you? I mean, we keep hearing about meditation, especially in executive circles, but you're a young entrepreneur. What is the experience of meditation? How is that translated for you in the workplace? I
think us as Westerners, our meditation is this Eastern, coming from Eastern religion. We don't really want to touch it. It's the airy-fairy stuff, but it's not that. It's just keep getting your mind quiet and just focusing on one thing and just staying with that, because in the business world everything is so busy. In our own lives everything is so busy. We're constantly on our phones and our minds are just all over the place. So just to train your mind, just to calm down and regain focus, I think it's critical.
Well, there you have it. If you want to be a high-flying entrepreneur, there comes moments where you have to be still and allow your mind also to be silent. And maybe one of the ways is meditation. And these, of course, are the pearls of wisdom that we've just gotten from the chief executive of the Beancounter. Now, Marnus has dedicated his life to building the journeys of emerging entrepreneurs in South Africa. Self-made millionaire at 24, and it seems as if there are many, many more millions to come. Do stay tuned. Young Money is back straight after this.